So you worked with your grandfather.
He lived with us up until I was we moved and I left in the 6th grade. He was with us all the way through the 6th grade. And he worked out in construction with my dad. I worked beside him. He taught me how to do some of the very first things that I did with tools. I mean, believe it or not, we were like Mennonites. We went out and as kids worked on jobs when Dad was building construction jobs. We weren't in school if he was working weekends and so we went out. I went out as a young man and we went to places where there were no power and you were doing stuff by hand. And I was sawing 2x4 when I was barely big enough to hold that saw. This. And Casey taught me how to sharpen my hand saws because it was a difference of 10 strokes with a dull saw or 5 strokes with a sharp saw.
And you're talking a regular handsaw with
regular handsaw, yeah. Right. So how to sharpen hand saws, how to sharpen power saws later on, and chainsaws, you name it. Casey taught me how to do when I was young, and of course my dad did as well.
And this is from a man who couldn't read or write.
But
he was, like you said, an engineering savant.
The little model still that you'll see one up there, I don't know if you saw it or not, in the distillery where the old still's at.
Yeah.
I was around him when he was doing that, and he had this old lathe that he would turn those little barrels on, and he would let us kids do some of that, play on that, stuff like that. But yeah, the design in the gift shop, I don't know if you noticed the boards on an angle sideways. The last shop that he built, that's how that shop was done on the inside.
With the wood at the
boxing on the outside on an angle, okay? And partly because the lumber came from houses in Land Between the Lakes when they were tore down, and those were already cut on angles and you could fit those where you needed to. My dad tore down a lot of houses in Land Between the Lakes for the lumber. I went as a kid, it helped, But at any rate, Casey's shop was like that, and 2x4 studs were exposed, and he had shelves between them, and he put his tools, hang them between them, and things like that. So when I built the gift shop, I decided to mimic that same pattern for the shelves for the bottles, and a lot of the same look with the boxing and all that kind of stuff with it, and that's how it originally started, so yeah.